First tonight at 10, the Badgers back in action tonight, but is the surrounding area ready for the start of the season?
And more flooding concerns tonight as the Baraboo River continues to rise.
And later, week 3 of the high school football season. All the highlights tonight in Prep Mania.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll have those stories in just a few minutes. First, we are monitoring the chance for some potentially strong storms overnight.
And to an already saturated area, any more rain could lead to even more flooding. Let's check in right away with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi in the Weather Center. Gary?
Charlotte, so far things are quiet, but that will change over the next few hours as showers and storms develop out to our west in Minnesota and Iowa and head in our direction. We have alert days in the forecast for tomorrow, Sunday, and Labor Day Monday. Thunderstorms developing late tonight and tomorrow morning could bring heavy rain and gusty winds. And then there's a chance of thunderstorms off and on from tomorrow afternoon through Sunday and Labor Day. Any of those thunderstorms could bring heavy downpours, and that would just make any flooding problems worse. Flash flood watch remains in effect until 7 p.m. tomorrow for much of our viewing area, including Dane County and areas to the west and north. Precipitation potential, latest update from our computer models through 6 p.m. Monday, calling for a general 1 to 3 inches of rain over southern Wisconsin, with some amounts over 4 or 5 inches in areas that get heavier thunderstorms. Doppler track right now, pretty quiet, at least around the Madison area. However, this area right here around northeastern Iowa, that's where we're going to be watching for thunderstorms to develop over the next few hours. There's a slight risk of severe thunderstorms into southwestern Wisconsin, with wind and hail being the main threats, and a marginal risk in the Madison area, mainly for strong winds. Tomorrow, that marginal risk moves into far southern Wisconsin and then covers much of the southern part of the state on Sunday as well. Low temperatures this morning started out in the upper 50s, but as humidity levels rose, temperatures climbed up into the lower 80s. Here in Madison, we topped out at 82. La Crosse is at 85, a little cooler near Lake Michigan. Current temperatures are generally in the middle 70s, and these temperatures will only fall a few more degrees because dew point temperatures are already in the upper 60s to the lower 70s. By tomorrow morning, look for shower and thunderstorm chances. High temperatures tomorrow will be around 80 degrees, the best chances of rain in the morning. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. The weather ended up cooperating for fans tonight, but the road construction projects around downtown, not so much.
Right now, the Badgers are making their home debut against Western Kentucky, but fans excited for the game had to plan around all of that construction. Adam Duxter joins us live from near Camp Randall with how businesses and fans are handling it. Adam?
Well, behind me at Camp Randall, that game is very much still going on. It's the season opener, Wisconsin versus Western Kentucky. But today wasn't just a challenge for the coaches or anyone else associated with that game plan, because behind me on Monroe Street, the fans and businesses needed a game plan all their own.
As Wisconsin prepared for its first home competition today, the businesses along Monroe Street prepared for a different kind of challenge.
We're kind of just talking about how we're going to adjust to the flow of people. You know, it's a little weird having a Friday night game, you know, so it's going to be a different flow of people.
One lane open in one direction, plus 70,000 people.
It's 8 o'clock at night on a Friday night. It's Labor Day weekend. It's students coming for the first time. Not all of them know their way around.
It's a lot to handle for the fans getting in and out of town, but it's also a lot to handle for the places feeding those fans. But it's not a challenge these guys are backing away from.
It's welcome, you know, we're ready to go. We know how it's going to be, and we're going to rock it out.
Earlier this week, police urging fans coming in for the Badgers game against Western Kentucky to avoid Monroe Street to take another route. But these owners say it's nothing these fans can't handle.
Construction, I think football fans kind of weather any kind of obstacles, so I think they'll make it through.
Today, many people walking, not driving Monroe Street, and the businesses here hope it leaves a lasting impact.
My feeling is, though, that if they walk past the store and say, oh, that's where that shop is located, they're going to come back later. So even if they don't shop on their way to or from the game, we love having the people come and discover our neighborhood.
And as much of a hassle as it was coming in, it's going to be coming out that's even harder, because that one-way, one-lane street, that's coming in, not coming out. So if you are headed through Madison tonight, you might want to do it before this game gets out, because there are going to be cars just about everywhere.
Welcome to a Friday night.
Avoid that area altogether, pretty much.
Adam Duxter reporting just outside Camp Randall. Adam, thank you. Many students living near the stadium set up their tailgates early this morning. They stockpiled beer and set up games like bags in their front lawn. Even though Badgers living on Breeze Street live literally across the street from Camp Randall, they say nothing compares to being inside the stadium during the game.
And while some Badger fans tailgate with beer and other alcoholic beverages in hand, those who are recovering or don't drink can find it hard to get involved. That's why sober students and their supporters organized UW-Madison's first sober tailgate today. Live Free Student Wellness and other recovery support organizations held this event near campus. They say that it was a much-needed addition to game day.
That's kind of the thing we wanted to provide for people, a place to celebrate being a Badger in a place where sometimes that might be difficult for people in recovery or people who just want to opt out of drinking altogether.
And organizers hope they can continue the sober tailgate as a yearly tradition. We'll have more on tonight's season opener coming up a little later in sports. We're getting early estimates on just how devastating the storms have been across the state the last couple weeks.
According to Wisconsin Emergency Management, there's at least $44 million in damage to public infrastructure, and that number is expected to rise. In Sauk County today, homes are being sandbagged in Baraboo as the Baraboo River continues to rise. Volunteers have been filling them up since 8 o'clock this morning. The river was expected to crest this evening. Governor Walker is continuing his storm damage tour, and today in Sauk County, the governor reminded property and business owners to report any damages to their local authorities, who will then report it to the county and state. The governor says he spoke with Vice President Mike Pence about getting help from the Trump administration. An Illinois man died earlier this week after falling down some damaged wooden steps at Lake Redstone in Sauk County. The stairs had been heavily damaged during the recent heavy rain and storms. Police say the 70-year-old man fell near a broken section of those stairs. He fell about 20 feet down the hill and he died. Police don't suspect any foul play.
Sauk County Emergency Management has put together a disaster relief fund for flood victims. The Greater Sauk Community Foundation will be taking monetary donations, and officials say there will be no charge for the service, so 100% of those proceeds will go directly to the victims. You can donate by visiting greatersauk.org. In Madison, the city will be extending free overnight parking in area garages through next Friday as parts of the Isthmus continue to see some flooding. There will be no parking fees for city-owned parking garages between the hours of 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. through September 7th.
The Wisconsin Department of Health says it is continuing to see cases of severe bleeding from the use of synthetic marijuana. There have now been 54 cases in 4 counties, including Dane and Rock. There are 8 new cases in the last 2 weeks. The DOH says synthetic weed has rat poison in it, which causes the bleeding. These products are not legal in Wisconsin. Police say 2 6-figure vehicles were stolen out of a West Madison garage today. The homeowner on Trapper Trail says a $100,000 Jaguar and a $100,000 Range Rover were both taken. He says he believes the garage door was left unlocked and the keys to both vehicles were in the garage. Police found the Jaguar about 4 miles away.
Longtime Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Shirley Abrahamson says she has cancer. Back in May, the 84-year-old announced she would not seek re-election, saying she was undergoing some medical treatment. Today was the first time she disclosed it was, in fact, cancer. Abrahamson does not say when she was diagnosed or the type of cancer. She is the longest-serving member in state Supreme Court history and the first female justice. People filed through the U.S. Capitol today to see the casket of the late U.S. Senator John McCain, the 31st person to lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda, an honor reserved for government officials and military officers. Tomorrow morning, he will be driven to the Vietnam Memorial for a short ceremony before his memorial service at the Washington National Cathedral. Burial is on Sunday at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. Music and powerful speeches, part of a tribute to singer Aretha Franklin today.
Her star-studded funeral service in Detroit lasted much of the day. CBS News correspondent Kenneth Craig was there.
Some of the world's most famous performers lifted their voices in song. Jennifer Hudson, Ariana Grande, Faith Hill, Shaka Khan,
gonna be thinking about you,
and Smokey Robinson to remember the Queen of Soul. The service for Aretha Franklin was billed as a celebration of life, bringing tears.
She was black girl
magic before there was black girl magic.
And laughter to a Detroit church the city Franklin called home. The extensive list of speakers included a former president.
She took the gifts God gave her, and she kept getting a little bigger every day.
Preachers.
The queen did what she could.
And powerhouses in the music industry.
Aretha's voice will be influencing others literally for centuries to come.
There were pink Cadillacs outside, and befitting a legend, Franklin's outfit was changed 4 times for this week's services before her casket was closed for the final time. The more than 8.5-hour service concluded with more music, and then Franklin's body was taken to its final resting place, the same cemetery where her father and Rosa Parks were buried. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Detroit.
Detroit's mayor announced during the service that an amphitheater in the city will be renamed Aretha Franklin Park.
In other news tonight, it is a race that has not been done in over 100 years. But this weekend, devoted fans of Harley-Davidson are descending on Milwaukee for an historic bike race on the beach on the shoreline of Lake Michigan. Today, racers were just preparing for the competition. Vintage and new bikes will meet up and battle it out of the oval, paying tribute to the early days of racing. An estimated 150,000 riders from all across the country and the world coming to Milwaukee for Harley-Davidson's big 150th anniversary. The State Department of Transportation now accepting orders for 2 new specialty license plates. One features the 4-H Foundation logo. The other touts the Muskie Clubs Alliance. The plates cost an extra $15 on top of an annual registration fee, as well as a $25 donation to those organizations.
Check this out. Next year, Paul McCartney will be performing for the first time. He will perform June 6th at the Kohl Center as part of his new Freshen Up tour. This tour will be his first outing following the release of his brand new studio album, Egypt Station, which will be released on September 7th. There is more to come tonight. When we come back, a couple more chances for unneeded rain overnight and this weekend.
And this Friday night of News 3 at 10 just beginning. News 3's Melissa Kim with all your prep media highlights just moments away. All right, Gary Canalti out there. I think I can hear the crickets out there with you, Gary, but finally no raindrops.
No raindrops right now, but that will change later tonight into tomorrow morning. Let's start out by taking a look at alert days we have in the forecast for tomorrow, Sunday, and Labor Day Monday. Looks like a round of thunderstorms will reach us late tonight into tomorrow morning. That could bring heavy rain and perhaps some gusty winds. And then off and on rain chances beginning Saturday afternoon through Sunday and Labor Day Monday. Much of the time it won't be raining, but when it rains, it could rain hard, at least for short periods of time. Any additional rainfall is going to cause problems, especially in areas that have had flooding in recent days. Flash flood watch remains in effect until 7 p.m. tomorrow evening for Dane County and areas to the west out to the Mississippi River and into northeastern Iowa, and to the north and northeast up to just south of Green Bay. 5-day precipitation estimates, well, you can clearly see the area that was hardest hit just over the last 5 days, north of Madison, basically north of Dane County. 5 to 10 inches of rain from Dane County southward, about 1 to 3 inches of rain. But there are parts of Dane County that about a week ago had 10 to 15 inches of rain. So, we're not alone in seeing the heavy rain in the northern part of the viewing area. Doppler track pretty quiet tonight. Some thunderstorms rolled through the Chicago area. Out to the west, there's a cluster of severe thunderstorms as we move through northwestern Wisconsin. Thunderstorms starting to fire up in south central Iowa will probably expand to the north and east. And I think by later on tonight, we'll see an area of thunderstorms move through. That's why the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms, even into southwestern Wisconsin, with hail and gusty winds being the main threat. A marginal risk for maybe an isolated severe storm holding together into the Madison area, but the greater threat is going to be heavy rain. Severe weather outlook for tomorrow, a marginal risk for far southern Wisconsin for any lingering storms early in the morning. The next batch of storms will develop to our south and west. And then on Sunday, the possibility exists for an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm, as well as storms that produce heavy downpours. Precipitation potential, we're waiting for the new numbers to come in from the computer models, but generally about 1 to 3 inches of rain through southern Wisconsin, with localized amounts in excess of 4 or 5 inches in heavier thunderstorms, and that covers much of southern Wisconsin. We just don't need that kind of rain. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. It's muggy out there, but it's dry for time being. High today 82, low temperature 58, so it seems like an August day. 76 the current temperature, and with a dew point temperature of 67, temperatures will probably stay in the upper 60s to low 70s. As we look at weather track, you can see storms developing to our northwest and to our southwest, but eventually we'll see more storms develop out ahead of a storm system out to our west and a warm front that'll be just to our south and west. So again, a flash flood watch in effect for Dane County and areas to the west and northeast through 7 p.m. tomorrow. 69 for the overnight low temperature with a round of thunderstorms late tonight into tomorrow morning. Maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon, otherwise muggy with a high of 80. On future track, you can see how the thunderstorms arrive late tonight into tomorrow morning, and then just some off and on thunderstorm chances during the day tomorrow night, and into Sunday. There will be brief periods of heavy rain, but probably not as widespread rain. But again, those rainfall amounts probably in the 1 to 3 inch range with some localized 4 or 5 inch amounts. 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures remain warm and the thunderstorm chances stick around through midweek. Maybe some dry weather toward the end of the week with temperatures in the 80s by next weekend.
Welcome to week 3 of Prep Mania. No game of the week tonight because of the Badgers home opener, but we do have some great matchups this week of teams in high school that haven't lost a game yet this season. Starting off in Division I, Janesville Craig taking on Verona. In the first quarter, Adam Becks handing it off to Hacken Anderson, and he will push through for the touchdown, 7-0. Minutes left in the first, Ben Coulter handing off to Trevion Morn. He'll break through the pack, emerging there. Look at those legs go. He runs long for the touchdown. And then later, Ben Coulter to Tresson Kusmal for the touchdown for Janesville Craig. They win by a score 26-20, the final. Eastside taking on Memorial under the lights at Leisure Stadium. In the first quarter, Spartans taking the lead. Jason Siniti throwing it to Cade Ellingson for their first touchdown of the game. But within 6 minutes left in the first quarter, Siniti again does a good fake handoff there, launches it down the field. Number 47, not on the roster. Let us know who you are so we can give you a shout out for that score. Minutes before the half, Siniti again throwing the ball while going down. Ellingson there for the catch. He takes it in. Memorial beats East to say 3-0, 41-0, the final. Some other scores tonight, La Follette beating Beloit Memorial 42-21. Middleton shutting out West 40-zip. Sun Prairie winning big at home 49-7 against Janesville Parker. Baraboo edging out Beaver Dam 37-21. DeForest shutting out Reedsburg 40-0. And Stoughton beating Edgewood 29-9. Wanakee was one of the teams off to a 2-0 start this season. The Warriors, though, not missing a beat since losing two big running backs to graduation. The defending state champion Warriors hosting Mount Horeb Barneveld. The Vikings also 2-0 this season coming into this game. This is the opening kickoff. Senior receiver Sawyer Malley fields it on his own 10-yard line. Doesn't even get touched. Takes it 90 yards to the end zone. 10 seconds into the game, Warriors up 7-0. A few minutes later, quarterback Jarrett Wolf sneaking into the end zone, giving Wanakee a 14-0 lead. All Warriors in the first quarter. Fast forward to the end of the second quarter now. Wolf taking the shotgun snap, reads the defense quite well there, falls into the end zone, giving Wanakee a 43-0 lead going into halftime. That was the majority of scoring. Warriors cruised their third win of the season by a final score of 46-0. Lake Country Lutheran versus Lakeside Lutheran in the battle of the unbeatens here as well. First quarter action, Lake Country Lutheran's Ethan Wilkins to Dane Vance. Look at those speedy legs. He takes it 31 yards to the house, lightening up early, 7-0. Still in the first, Vance again. This time on the ground. Looks like it's going to be a short gain, but he gets the cutbacks for the 13-yard score. They're up 13-0. To the second now, Lakeside Lutheran's Carter Bukta with a 2-yard run to pull within 6 for the Warriors. But later on in the second, the Lightning's Xander Mueller with the handoff. He'll stay on his feet, diving in at the goal line. They're up 19-7 Lake Country, but they would go on to win 33-14, the final score. Some other scores here: Monona Grove 3-0 this season now with a 21-7 win over Oregon. Milton beats Monroe 27-19. Sauk Prairie winning big 50-36 against Portage. And McFarland and Beloit Turner, that game ending 9-7 the final. And Poynette beats Nakusa 26-7. Some other scores: Darlington losing to Cuba City 27-20. Johnson Creek 62 points over Deerfield tonight. Fenimore shutting out Iowa Grant 35-0. And Potosi Castile winning 48-7. Still ahead, less than 30 games left in the regular season. The Brewers making some moves to the roster. That story next in sports.
News.
Well, the Badgers season opener tonight under the lights at Camp Randall. Wisconsin, its 130th season of football, hosting Western Kentucky. They've won 22 straight home openers, 39 consecutive wins against non-conference opponents at home. That is the 5th longest streak by an FBS team since 1946. Right now, the Badgers are up 27-3 over the Hilltoppers in the third quarter. Jonathan Taylor looking solid in his sophomore season, already amassing more than 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Certainly a concern over the inexperience and depth of the receiver core after Quintez Cephas and Danny Davis were suspended. But A.J. Taylor and Kendrick Pryor picking up the slack so far. Pryor with a touchdown catch just before halftime. He was, however, carted off the field due to some cramping in the third quarter. 3 favorite words in a football fan's vocabulary. Preseason is over, and hopefully that is the case for the players too. At least the ones that are on the bubble have done everything that they need to do to make the cut for the 53-man roster. But for those younger players that might not make the cut, not necessarily a done deal, according to head coach Mike McCarthy.
For Brian and I, it's just, frankly, it's a continuous conversation. You're always talking about every player, particularly the young players, because you're watching every move that they make, and every piece of information is part of the evaluation because they're new to your program. We're trying to create opportunities for those young men.
Now, the Brewers making some moves tonight. This just in, according to ESPN, they've acquired outfielder Curtis Granderson from the Blue Jays. And earlier tonight, they also got left-hander Gio Gonzalez from the Nationals, their opponent, tonight as well. Now, Gonzalez not exactly having the best season. He has a 7-11 record and a 4.57 ERA in 27 starts. The Brewers, though, they're hoping that he can help them catch up to the NL Central leading Cubs. The Brewers are 5 games behind them coming into today. Home run derby tonight in our nation's capital, already up 2-1. Eric Kratz sending that one out to left center for the solo shot. 3-1 Brewers. Next inning, Jesus Aguilar's turn. He also goes to left. It's his 27th home run of the season. 4-1 Brewers. That would be the final. Cubs also losing in extras in Philly. So Brewers and Cardinals both 4 games behind the Cubs right now. We'll be right back.
That's number 31 for Jesus.
The
Obviously, the last thing we need is more rain, but maybe it's coming.
Well, take a look. We'll look at Doppler track right now. It looks pretty quiet out there right now. But if we look at future Doppler track, look what happens over the next few hours. Storms develop over eastern Iowa and head towards southern Wisconsin, and that would be in here. You can see, look at the time, around maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Some of those storms will have heavy rain and gusty winds. Flash flood watch in effect until 7 p.m. tomorrow for much of our viewing area. Latest computer model numbers. Heaviest rain might be shifting just a shade southward. The farther south it goes, the better, just because the heaviest rain that we've had recently has been just to our north.
All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 10.
Have a great weekend and do something good.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.